Welcome to my channel. This video is for a fall ruffle wreath. Please consider joining my YouTube family by subscribing, and don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads and live streams. Okay, so you're going to either need 14 full-size chenille stems or 7 halves, 7 full ones cut in half. So you still have 14 total chenille stems. And I am attaching 6 around the inner middle wire, and you can go around both the inner and the inner middle wire, or you can just go around the inner middle one, which is what I'm going to do. Right there at the cross wire, there happens to be 6 sections on the wreath form, so since I'm attaching 6, putting them at the cross wire will put them evenly around, plus they won't move around. So I'm going to attach those first 6. Now I'm moving to the outer middle wire, and I'm wrapping it around the outer wire as well. It will just help stabilize those chenille stems if you put it around 2 wires. And there's a tip: if you do a full-size chenille stem, what you can do is just after you twist it, you fold it down sideways, and it'll show you where your next chenille stem needs to go. But since I'm doing halves, I can't do that. So with the halves, you want to go it's about every 5.5 inches, about approximately 5 to 5.5. It's not exact, but you can use a ruler to kind of help you space those 8 chenille stems around the wreath. So it should look something like that when you're done. And once you get that done, you're ready to cut your mesh and start attaching it. So I cut my mesh at 24 inches long, and I used a rotary cutter. You can use scissors if that's all you got. Just try to cut them as straight across as you can. And I like to flip the mesh over so the curls go upwards. I just like to curl it that way. I think it's easier. So you want to curl it and then ruffle and curl the other end as well, and then flip it back over. So the curls, when you attach it to the wreath, the curls are going under. And this really, to me, helps reduce the fraying. If it does fray, you won't see it as well. Plus, it's not, if it starts coming undone, it's going to do it underneath. So you're not going to see it as well. And you can kind of spread those out, but don't mess with them too much. So you just want to twist that chenille stem a couple of times to get it on there securely. So here's another piece. You see it's upside down, and I'm rolling. I'm going to give it at least one good roll and then start ruffling. And you can roll that other end and then just meet up with your other hand and then turn it over. And that is, it's kind of like a woodland ruffle. Those usually are longer and have more curl to it, but so this is kind of in between. I even heard somebody calling it a cruffle, which I thought was cute. So a curl and a ruffle. And I just love the look of this. I just think it's really cute with those curls and then the ruffle. I think it makes the wreath look really, really pretty. So you can attach these however you want. I'm just going back and forth. If you want to go all the way around on the inner and then start on the outer, however you want to do it is fine. You will end up with a little bit of extra at the end though. And what I suggest, and I did not do this, so you have 2 choices. If you have a piece left over at the end, you should have 14 pieces. So one for each chenille stem that you attached. And you, if you have an extra, you can go ahead and just add it on top of an existing ruffle. Or what you can do after you cut 12, you can take what's left of the mesh, unravel it, and then cut it in half and use those last 2 pieces as your 13th and 14th piece. But I would suggest on those 2, they should be a lot longer, is attaching one on one side of the wreath and attaching the other on the other side of the wreath. But there I just attached it on top. So one little section is going to be a little bit fuller, but once you get it decorated, you can't tell. So next I'm doing ribbon spikes, and I've got 28 ribbons. Here's the last one that I haven't cut. So you just need to cut them at 12 inches long. So you just take a ruler, wrap the ribbon around the ruler however many times for however many spikes you need, like that. And you would just keep wrapping it around there. And then you pull it off the ruler and you just cut both ends so you have ribbons that are 12 inches long. Very simple. You just want to fold the ribbon over like that, match them up, and then fold it over that way, and then cut it at an angle, and then you have your dovetails or your V shape. So you want to do that to all the ribbons, and that's the only thing I hate about doing ribbon spikes is because it takes so long to cut all those dovetails. So I'm not going to show all that, I'm just going to show a couple. Now I've got all my ribbons done, and I know you're wondering, why does she have so many different ribbons going on? That's because I had several spools of ribbon where I was down to just a little bit of ribbon left on them. Okay, so you have two options for folding the ribbon spikes. You can make this X shape and then gather it in the center, and this really holds them open. The spikes will go different directions, so it gives it a different look. Most people don't use that. This is the way most people do them. They layer them on top of each other, fold them in half, and then gather them where you made that crease. So it depends on what look you like better. It doesn't matter which way you want to do it, just whatever look you want to do. I'm going to do the classic way on this wreath. So you just want to attach them onto the chenille stem, and this is what I was talking about with when you have them, when you cut the chenille stems in half, they're not very long, so it does make it more difficult to tie on this stuff. What I did is I untwisted it to the mesh and then put the ribbons right on directly on top of the mesh, and then attach those chenille stems or retighten them. And you just want to pull your ribbons apart. So when you do them the classic way like that, see they stay together. And so it just depends on what look you're wanting to go for on your wreath. And you can just alternate, just make sure, try not to put too many of the same. Depending on what ribbons, you may just be using 2 different ribbon patterns, or maybe you're using 4. As you see, I'm using so many. Like I said before, the reason why I'm using so many is because I had so many spools that were almost empty, that were down, like the brown truck, I only had 24 inches left of it. And there were others where I only got like 3 spikes or 4 spikes or whatever. So I just took all those ribbons that were really low and I cut as many spikes as I could, and then for whatever else I needed, I cut enough ribbon for that, which was the green truck with the orange pumpkins. I had to cut a few of those to add a few, but so this was just a good way to use up leftover ribbon that was almost empty. So you just want to work your way around all that and get all those attached to all 14 chenille stems. And I'm going around the wreath. I'm trying to even out those trucks and make sure I've got them spread out evenly, like the brown truck on one side and a brown truck on the other side, since I only had 2 of those. Now I'm going to attach my sign. I already attached the cable tie mounts onto the sign with E6000 glue and hot glue on the bottom, and then at the top I'm just using the twine that came on the sign. I'm just twisting that on there with a chenille stem. And here is the finished wreath. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep watching after the little end screen, and I will show you on a different sign how to attach those cable tie mounts if you need that. So here's a good picture of it. It's so cute. So I have several wreath kits that are similar to that, so this video should help you with those. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, share, comment, like. Please be kind with your comments, and please be kind to others, and happy crafting, everyone. Now keep watching if you want to see those cable tie mounts. I'm fixing to show that. Okay, here it is. This is what a cable tie mount looks like. It's got a sticky backing. It's just plastic. I've got white ones and black ones, so if you got a wreath kit from me, I should send you a couple of them as long as I have them in stock. And I'm using E6000 glue to glue those on. I just think that is a better glue. It's going to last longer, so I'm gluing one to the top and one to the bottom. And then you can also go over it with hot glue around the edging, or if all you have is hot glue, then hot glue it on there too, because it's still going to be better than that sticky backing, because I don't trust those to work or to last. So you just want to, again, glue one to the top and bottom. If you use E6000, you do need to let it set overnight, would be the best, because that glue does take longer to dry fully, because it will, if you put it on there wet, then it's just going to slide right off. But if you do go over it with hot glue around the edging, then it should be okay. So you just take your chenille stems and you just run it through that cable tie mount. I like to give it a twist and then run one through the other one. And that makes it so easy to attach your signs to your wreath. Instead of trying to staple something on there or gluing the chenille stems on there, this is just, to me, so much better.